This thin and light laptop gets 13 hours of battery life, has a dedicated GPU, is upgradable in regards to the RAM, when a lot of laptops that are getting thin and light these days are being equipped with soldered RAM rather than exchangeable RAM, really defeating the whole opportunity for an upgrade path. You can also upgrade 2 M.2 slots in this laptop, providing you with more storage. It also has an SD card reader on one of the ports, and it scored 6,534 points inside of Photoshop, which is on par with some of the best 16-inch gaming laptops that money can buy, and it all comes in at under $1,500. Now, it also has an OLED display with 99% Adobe RGB and a nice aluminum top cover. Now, this is none other than the ASUS VivoBook Pro 15 OLED, a laptop equipped with actually a GPU that is 2 generations old. And before I scare you off with something of that nature, consider for a fact the performance and the price and all that encompasses this laptop. Now, let's dive into more about why I would cover a laptop with an older generation GPU in my videos, because I'm getting more and more picky about the laptops I review here on my channel. Now, first and foremost, I love how thin and light this laptop is, but still provides an upgrade path. As I mentioned, you can upgrade 1 RAM stick, as well as having access to 2 M.2 slots, and you can slide in an SD card to easily send over footage from your camera. Now, on top of that, there's even more extensive port connectivity for a thin and light laptop. All right, for the ports, we do have a nice selection here on the ASUS VivoBook Pro 15 OLED. We have 2 USB Type-Cs, 1 Thunderbolt, and 1 USB 3.2 Gen 2 with power delivery and display port. We have our headphone jack, USB Type-A, this is a 3.2 Gen 1, HDMI 2.1, RJ45 Ethernet port, and your power adapter. Now, on the other side, we have an additional USB Type-A 3.2 Gen 1, and we have an SD card reader. So nice connectivity on this laptop.
So I think the VivoBook Pro 15 OLED is one of the best kept secrets on the market right now. They use the RTX 3050, and yes, it is an old GPU, but it provides amazing performance, which you'll see in the performance section. But more than that, because they're using an older GPU, it's not going to be as an expensive device. And so we have the RTX 3050 with 1 terabyte of SSD, 16 gigs of RAM, and an Intel Core Ultra 7 at $1,050. And this laptop is great for video editing, graphic design, photography, digital art. It has an OLED panel, so it's going to be color accurate. If you want to go ahead and upgrade to 24 gigs of RAM, 2 terabyte SSD, Intel Core Ultra 9, that's going to put you back $1,399. Now, this is not as good of a deal in my opinion. You know, it puts you well into the thousands, where the Intel Core Ultra 7 puts you right into the thousands because it's on sale right now. But this is definitely a great buy. Now, you can get the latest with the i9-13900HS, 16 gigs of RAM and RTX 4060. However, the downside to this laptop is going to be battery life, because as that i9-13900H, it's going to get less battery life. And so, yes, it is the same in price point, well, almost the same, but the battery life is going to be something that really hurts you. Now, looking at the Mac Daddy of all of these, you're going to have the RTX 4070 and 1 terabyte of SSD. And this is going to be great for 6K video editing, 3D modeling. It's a much more high performance machine. However, you are now up into almost a $2,000 price point. So hope this helps give you a little perspective on the models available for the VivoBook and the price points and what they would be good for. Links in the description if you want to check the live pricing or make a purchase.
Now, of course, another thing I really like on this laptop is the display. Taking a look at the display on the ASUS VivoBook Pro 15 OLED, this is an HDR OLED display. It has a 1920 by 1080 resolution. This is a full HD version. This is not the 2.5 or 3K version. So keep that in mind. That's the model I have before me, and it reaches 60 Hertz refresh rate. Now, this has a brightness of 397 nits, 100% sRGB, 99% Adobe RGB, and 99% DCI-P3, all at a delta E of 1.57. Now, this is also Pantone validated from the factory for height and color gamut range, and it has Gorilla Glass, so it's going to be more impact resistant. So if you tend to be somebody who drops or spills your laptop often, this is going to be a good buy for you. Now, what makes this laptop so efficient as far as battery life is concerned, even being matched with a dedicated GPU, is the Intel Core Ultra 9, a very nice low power CPU option from Intel. That provides you, like I said, with 13 hours of battery life for streaming video playback and productivity, 7 hours and 30 minutes for Photoshop, and 4 hours and 20 minutes for video editing. Now, taking a look at the keyboard, we have a nice, very simple keyboard layout, large keys, medium key travel, and you have a nice sized trackpad with a dial. Now, the dial is probably my least favorite thing on this laptop, and let's dive into why. All right, now getting you a closer look at the ASUS Dial. I must say that it is functional, but I don't love it as much as if I were to compare it to the physical dial on the ProArt StudioBook Pro 16 OLED. It's just easier to use. I'll show you here right now. I have set to scroll through the timeline, and you can see that as I'm moving, it scrolls through the timeline, but it isn't very fluid. Like all of a sudden it like kind of goes faster or slower. It just is a little bit finicky. Now, if you want to turn it on or off, you just slide your finger down and it turns on or off. That took me a while to really honestly figure out. You can go ahead and set whichever settings for each app you would like. So you get into the ASUS Dial Command Center, select change system selection to say Photoshop or Premiere Pro, and then you can go ahead and add different types of functions to the dial. So it does have a lot of customizable options for you. I just think in regards to physical dial versus a dial that's embedded into the trackpad, the physical dial wins out from ASUS at this moment. Now, I have used them on a haptic trackpad, one that doesn't have a physical click, and I do like that more than the embedded one with the physical click. But ultimately, my favorite is going to be the dedicated physical button inside of the ProArt StudioBook. So it's a good feature, but it still needs a little bit of work in my opinion. Now, the next thing I want to look at is the noise of the keyboard and trackpad in use, and here's a sample so you can hear for yourself. Now, the speakers on this laptop are on the bottom cover of the laptop, and here's an audio sample so you can hear for yourself what they sound like. And of course, there's a webcam along the top bezel. Here's a sample of the webcam so you can hear and see what that's like. This is the webcam on the ASUS VivoBook with the Intel Core Ultra 9 and RTX 4050, and a little sample of the audio for you as well. Now, one area that this laptop will not dominate is, of course, 3D modeling. The RTX 3050 is a 6 gig VRAM card and just doesn't have the horsepower that the newer cards like the RTX 4060 or 4070 have. But this does provide you with a nice all-around performance that the GPU does help with. It'll also give you support for external monitors. So if you have 1 to 2 external monitors connected to this laptop, because of that dedicated GPU, it will provide you with smooth performance. If you were to hook up 2 external monitors to a laptop with just integrated graphics, you may bottleneck the performance of the laptop. So that's where it does provide you with even more flexibility than just trying to get you tons of performance. It's going to give you also productivity options with multiple screens. Now, for video editing, we're seeing a solid export time of 2 minutes and 47 seconds. That is a 9-minute 4K clip put into Premiere Pro and then exported out at full quality 4K YouTube settings. And also for 6K, this is what really blew my mind. For 6K, we're seeing a 17-minute and 13-second export time. That is really good because the Lenovo Legion Pro 5i with the RTX 4070 is seeing a 16-minute and 34, maybe 38-second export time. I can't think of it off the top of my head, the exact number. And this has a 3050. So it's very well optimized in comparison to 16-inch gaming laptops that are kind of the top dogs on the market right now. Now, let's look at Playback. At Playback, it actually beats the latest Lenovo Legion Pro 5i with 293 drop frames compared to the roughly 350 that the Lenovo Legion gets. And then for 6K red footage, 187 drop frames. Again, better than the Lenovo Legion Pro 5i from 2024. So though it comes with a deceivingly underpowered RTX 3050, it's providing you great performance, which is why I wanted to feature this laptop on the channel, because a lot of times specs don't communicate actual real-world results. And in this case, this laptop is more powerful, has more efficiency, battery life, and has better color gamut range than some of the bigger names in the laptop community. So this could make a fantastic creator laptop that's efficient and powerful. Let me know if you're considering this laptop now that you've watched this video and what you were considering before you watched the video. Links in the description if you are ready to make a purchase, or click or tap the screen here for more videos to help you with your buying decision. I'll see you here in the next one.